What up guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to properly put on muscle through dieting, training, and supplementation. Plus I'm going to show you guys some of the tips that I use to bulk up. So the first topic I'm going to be covering is diet, which is the most important part of gaining muscle. With diet, you want to make sure that you're eating in a caloric surplus. You want to aim for 200 to 250 calories over your maintenance and slowly increase from there. Now, a quick tip for you guys is you should aim to gain 0.5 to 1 pound of weight gain per week. Anything above that is going to be too much. So the first point being be in a slight caloric surplus, which is you want to be eating enough calories, but don't overeat and don't undereat. Now, the next tip in terms of diet is getting in the right amount of macronutrients. This has been a problem for me when I was younger, just because I didn't know how to properly track the macronutrients. I was just eating as much as I could, as well as a lot of clients that I've dealt with, their diet was not specifically correct in terms of macro base. So in terms of macros, you wanna make sure that you're getting a gram of protein per pound of body weight. I like to actually aim for anywhere from 1 to 1.5. 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight has gotten me the best results. That has worked for me, but in terms of research, if you're going for bodybuilding purposes, 1 gram should be sufficient. So the last tip I have for you in terms of dieting is avoid dirty bulking. Now, everybody has done that before. When I first started lifting, I did the dirty bulk because I would watch Jay Cutler videos, I would watch, Rich Piana videos, and they said you gotta eat big to get big. So I would literally eat as much as I could. I would take weight gainers that were 1,000 calories, which is 4 scoops. And yeah, I did gain a lot of size, I gained a lot of strength, but I also put on a lot of fat. So like I said in the first point, you wanna be in a slight caloric surplus, but you don't wanna overeat to the point where you're force feeding and you're just gaining more fat than what is necessary. So now I'm gonna be showing you guys the top supplements that you can use for building muscle. The first one is creatine. Now creatine, your body naturally produces creatine. However, you don't get enough. So what I recommend doing is supplementing with 5 grams of creatine monohydrate. There's a lot of loading phases in terms of research, but the new research shows that you don't need to do a loading phase. So all you pretty much need is just 5 grams per day. This will help with increasing strength and building muscle. The second one is a carb powder. Now, a carb powder is great for either intra-workout, pre-workout, or post-workout. It's a great way to get in those quick carbs and extra calories. And it's also great for just like fueling your pumps as well as fueling your workouts. The next one is obviously protein. Now, protein is just a great way to get in those extra calories again, and to make sure that you're hitting your macronutrient goal of, getting in enough protein. Like I said, a gram per pound, or anywhere from 1 to 1.5. So the last one would be a weight gainer. Now, weight gainer can be really beneficial if you have trouble getting in your calories, you're on the go, or you just can't eat. It's much easier to drink your calories. So I don't recommend having a weight gainer that's really high in calories, because I always stress being in a slight caloric surplus. Something like this is a little bit better because it has 30 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs, and it also has the creatine in it as well. So now I'm gonna be talking about how to build muscle through training. Now, the first one being progressive overload. Progressive overload in layman's terms is pretty much you wanna go harder than last time. Now, this can be done in 3 ways, which is either through increasing volume, increasing intensity, or increasing weight. So for example, if you were to bench 205, the next week you would either put on 5 pounds of plates to each side just to increase the weight, or you can increase the volume. So how you increase the volume is you could push out more reps or push out more sets. Intensity would be the same thing. Either you're going harder through sets, reps, or strength. Now, another tip for building muscle through training that's often overlooked is actually consistent training. If you were to stop training, or you were inconsistent with training, say like 1 day there, 1 day here, you're not gonna benefit in terms of seeing results. You need to be consistently putting your muscles under stress through strength training. So what I recommend doing is training either 4 to 5 times per week to get the best results possible. So the next thing I'm gonna be talking to you about is how to build muscle efficiently through training splits, either high volume or low volume. Now, the difference between high volume and low volume is that high volume is great if you're looking for increased muscle pumps, getting as much blood into the muscle as possible and for hypertrophy. If you're using the low volume approach is great for increasing strength and is great for powerlifters or athletes. Now, which split is good for you? It really depends on your goals. Personally, when I first started, I started off with the 5x5 powerlifting split, but then as soon as I realized that, like my goal was bodybuilding, I switched towards the higher volume split. So it really depends on what your goal is. You just got to figure that out for yourself. So now I'm going to be showing you guys 2 tips that work for me in terms of building muscle. The first one is making sure that you're eating consistently. What I see a lot of people doing is they'll eat, say, 3,000 calories one day, then they'll eat 2,000 calories the other day. If you're not eating in a caloric surplus on a consistent basis, you're not gonna put on size. So for me, what I did is I would track my calories, and aside from that, instead of having, say, like 3 meals a day, I would eat 5 to 6 just to keep on eating. And I found that it worked for me, so I was able to hit my calorie range. So the second tip I have for you is drinking your calories. So if you have trouble eating, the best option is to drink your calories. When I first started lifting, I didn't have much of an appetite, so I actually would drink my calories. How I would do that is I would get a blender, I'd put 2 scoops of whey, a cup of oats, banana, peanut butter, whole milk, and that would load up the calories. And I would actually drink that twice a day to help me hit my calorie goal. So now I'm gonna be talking to you guys about some of the myths that there are in terms of building muscle. The first one being it's not all about protein. I know I stressed to you guys about having 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein, but if you look at a lot of videos on YouTube or back in the day, they would always stress protein, protein, protein. So that's something that I actually fell for when I was younger. So I would have like 300 grams of protein because I thought if I ate enough protein, I would get bigger. That couldn't be further from the truth, because as long as you're having the 1 gram per pound of body weight, the main macronutrient source for putting on size is actually carbs and fats. So you really want to focus on getting in as much carbs as possible. So the second myth is overtraining. Now, unless you're a professional athlete, the chances of you overtraining are highly unlikely. For the average person, they usually never overtrain. So what I recommend doing is just make sure that you're listening to your body. And if you start running into injuries, or if you find that you're really tired, what I recommend doing is taking a break for a day to 2 days and then get back in the gym. So that wraps up how to build muscle through training, diet, and supplements. Plus I gave you guys some tips. Now it's time to go grab some food.
I'll show you guys what I'm eating. Got my chicken Slovaki, some rice, and some garlic bread. Time to dig in.
So that wraps up the video on how to build muscle. Hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and of course, subscribe.